Here we go.
Like many people, I was not excited for a sequel to Joker, which I thought to be a brilliant film, a great character study. At the time, it felt like a real breath of fresh air. I know that it borrowed so many ideas from so many previous movies, especially Scorsese's work, but specifically in the comic book landscape in 2019, it felt very new. Even on rewatch, I find that movie to be very disturbing, but when they announced a sequel, and especially a movie that was going to integrate musical sequences, I'm left feeling perplexed. But with the same talent involved, I knew that there had to be something special about this movie for not only Joaquin Phoenix to return, but also Todd Phillips to go back to the drawing board and figure out what he wanted to do more with Arthur Fleck. Coming out of the movie, I am left feeling disappointed due to the fact that this movie doesn't entirely justify its existence amongst the multitude of other issues that I have with it. The movie starts with a wacky opening. It feels very Looney Tunes-esque, and I was confused as to where we were going. You can very quickly tell that this movie is going to be much different than the previous film. It doesn't feel as disturbing or harrowing as that movie. Folie Deux is not as intense as that first movie as well. I can see a lot of people complaining that this movie feels like it just meanders throughout. I don't entirely feel that way. I thought that the movie was interesting throughout. I never was entirely bored. I was always on board to see what was going to happen next, which is definitely a big plus. But I quickly started to pick up on the fact that this just felt like one big epilogue. And by that I mean it doesn't all really serve a purpose. You could go and talk about the musical elements, which just feel thrown in there and not exactly necessary for the story. When you incorporate music into the story, it's supposed to serve a purpose. If not, it just feels out of left field and not exactly necessary. And that's definitely the case with this movie. You want the songs to progress the story along. Here, it just feels like whenever there's a song, the movie just stops and it just severely slows down. Some moments even feel like filler sequences, and because of that, the runtime feels bloated. It's not exactly way too long. I didn't feel like the movie was a bore. If anything, it just felt like the creatives behind the scene were having a fun time just throwing stuff at the board and seeing what would stick. Experimenting is cool, but it's even cooler when audiences enjoy what you do when you experiment. And here, I wasn't enjoying it. It was around the halfway point that I just kind of clicked in my head that this just felt misguided. The suspicions that most of us had surrounding the idea of, was this movie even worth it, or was it just a cash grab, another attempt at a $1 billion movie like that first one? I can't really pinpoint one specific scene where I went, this is the real turning point, where it justified its existence. Don't get me wrong, it's extremely well shot, and especially the performances Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. As far as I'm concerned, they can't really do no wrong, especially when it comes to acting. Joaquin Phoenix is one of the finest actors of our generation. But I do wish there were more moments that had me on the edge of my seat and feeling uneasy like that first movie. And the ending, which is going to be one of the big talking points coming out of the movie for most moviegoers. Without getting into spoilers, it does kind of feel like a big fuck you. And especially people that did enjoy the first Joker movie and are now watching this one and you get to the end of it, it just feels like a punch in the face. Everything that they built up with Arthur Fleck in this iteration of the Joker, then just to have what they introduce, it really just leaves you feeling icky. You're continuously left questioning why this movie really needed to exist throughout the experience of watching it. It's not as disastrous as some are making it out to be. I don't think it's going to be as divisive as the previous movie. I think it's going to fall more on the disappointing side for most people, but I think that there are going to be some fans of this one too. The musical sequences, they're well done, but do they really need to be in this movie? No. It feels like a lot could have been cut in the editing room. At least it's an interesting sequel, I'll give it that, but at the same time, we could have just ended how we did with the film from 2019, and we didn't really need this one. I'm gonna give Joker 2 a C, and I would recommend streaming it only if you're interested to see what it's all about. Be sure to leave your thoughts on the movie down below in the comments, and I want to thank you so much for watching this video and look forward to more content coming soon. My name is Ben, people call me Meter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.